you're kind of looking at how your quarterbacks are doing, one of the things I went back and looked at my notes from Saturday, when things tighten up and the field gets compressed in the red zone, that's when a lot of these picks are taking place. In fact, I think Josh Thomas has picked off like 4 in the last couple of times we've seen him. When you get into that red zone, what are the things that the quarterbacks have to be mindful of, realizing that the defense is not worried about giving up something over the top?
Yeah, I mean, the safeties can be a little bit more aggressive once you get down in tight red. Obviously, they don't have to worry about getting beat over the top. And so, that's one thing they have to look for. They have to find where the safeties are. And particularly when you're throwing it in the middle of the field, that's where you can get in that trouble. When you start working edges, you don't have to worry about it as much. But, those are things, again, we're calling plays. They're not necessarily game plan, just seeing how guys are going to react. And, receivers, a couple times it's been receivers, a couple times it's been quarterbacks throws. So those are things we're coaching through. And, just like today, we finished up with 2 minutes down here today, and there's great teaching stuff that we had there where you run out of time because you don't get out of bounds and you don't get a first down to spike it. I mean, there's so many good things that we're teaching off of right now, and we'll continue to get better.
So it looks like, for the most part, the starting linebacker unit has been pretty fleshed out, at least from media day on. How are you guys going about evaluating the younger guys that are going to kind of fall into the spots behind them?
Well, whenever they get an opportunity, you got to make the most of it, and whether it be an individual or drills that you're doing, and we segmented so much of our practice out and scenarios that are played out, and so guys that are understanding scenarios, understanding what they're trying to do, get done, and you just continue to evaluate every single day. And so we overanalyze when you go back inside and you watch the film. We watch it as a staff, then you watch it with the players, and watch it later that night. There's just a lot of different things that you're doing to analyze the guys, and hopefully you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I mean, you want to continue to have that gradual trend of going up and getting better, and I think that's what we're doing.
How have you guys kind of gone about evaluating Steph as the time's gone on?
Yeah, I mean, when he got some opportunities, and I thought he did a good job Saturday in the scrimmage, and those were live. When nobody's on the field, he's out there by himself. I thought he did good. I think the last 2 or 3 days he's gotten a lot better. But you're not going to get a ton of reps. And the same thing with the young linebackers or young corner, whoever it may be. You just don't get a lot of reps. So when you do get out there, you got to make the most of it. And if you make plays, then hopefully you'll get maybe a few more reps. And so, but I think he's done a really good job the last few practices of getting better, way better than he was when we first started camp. So we like what we're seeing out of him. And again, he's not there. He's got a long ways to go, but he's getting better, and that's what we want to see. Improvement.
You get it only in smaller snippets, but where do you feel like special teams are right now, particularly punting, is an area where there still seems to be some good competition going on? Yeah,
really good competition. The 2 punters are really battling out, and really the 2 kickers are too. I love the competition out of both of them. We punted every day out here, and so those guys have done a good job. They've had better days than others. But overall, this camp, we're a lot better punting the football than we were last year, and so we're ahead of the game as far as that goes. And that's good to see. We're really stressing and working on protections and covering and all that, but the kicking aspect has been good. And the field goal has been the same. Both of those guys have really gotten a lot of reps at kicking the football.
And then on the return game, you got a lot of guys back there that could be candidates in the return game. How do you go through trying to sort those guys out and figure out what makes the most sense?
Well, I think we're number one is how they field the ball. In the punt return game, you're looking at scenarios of when you're backed up, how are you going to handle that ball? We had a bad thing with Doug last year, remember, at UMass, and so that comes into play. We're trying to put them in scenarios out here to see who's going to make the best decisions. Number one, we got about 4 or 5 guys that really field the ball well, and I think that's part of it's good. And then we got about 3 or 4 of them that can take it the distance. So you put all that together and you figure out what the scenario is. And I think Thomas is a sure-handed guy. We know what he can do with it. And then Clifton Duck's a guy that can take it to the house. I mean, so. Then you got Dom, who's very electric with the ball in his hands. Malik's feeling the ball a lot better. Virgil's back deep in the kick return. So you got Darrington Evans back. So we do have a lot of guys. And so we'll continue to work them and see which one we feel best. And then, once you get in the game, we'll put the 2 best guys out, and then we'll see what happens from there.
How do you feel about the progression of the offensive line and where they are right now?
Yeah, that's the kind of work in progress. Bear Hunter was missed out yesterday and today with the little nagging injury. He'll be back soon. But I think overall it's coming along. It's really hard on our O-line, particularly with how much our defense does right now early in camp. I always think defense are a little bit ahead of offenses early in camp. And so but they're coming on good. And I think, we're taking more strides toward getting where we want to get to. And Still hadn't zeroed in on exactly who the starters are going to be and all that. We're going to get through camp and then figure out who our best 5 will be.
It's high energy practice today. How do you keep that level of intensity up as the season progresses?
Well, it's just the culture of our program. I mean, that's the thing we talk about all the time. It's just attitude and effort. It doesn't take any talent to come out here and go hard. And, when you start getting to day 10, 11, 12 in camp, people tend to start wanting to drag a little bit. But we talk about it all the time. But we want it to come from within the team. I want the team members to really build each other up and bring it every single day. And, we're not out here long. We're out here 2 hours, and we're ready to go. And, when you get one practice, and so we got to make the most of it. And that's what we talk about it all the time. We have a team meeting before, team meetings at night. So you're always constantly telling the guys that and reminding them of it and what we got at stake, today. I mean, it's, the passion that we have to have for practice. You have to have it if you want to get the results that we want to have. And so those guys are bringing it, and, it's good to see out here every single day.
What are just a couple of the most key areas you'd like to see improvement on going forward?
Well, I think just more consistency up front. I think offensive line, that to me, that's always going to be a factor there. And then offensively, taking care of the football. We got to be able to take care of the football. And again, we're not game planning out here in practice, but if we're throwing into coverage and we're turning the ball over, that's not good. We don't want to create those habits. So we got to do a better job with those two things, I think, offensively. Defensively, it's just running to the football. When you stop the film, the ball's to the right sideline. How many guys are there? And if you only have four guys over there, and the rest of the guys kind of over here, those are things we got to coach through. We got to coach those guys to chase the football. That's why we've been good.